great work is changing the way we think and the way we act as individuals and really as an entire human family so that we become a beneficial presence on the earth rather than a destructive presence, as we've been for the last, well, at least a couple hundred years and perhaps beyond that. So that's the short answer. One of the fundamental problems we have in the way we relate to the earth is that we've become somewhat separate from the earth, at least in the everyday ways we live our lives. You can make an argument that that's been unfolding for a number of centuries, actually, maybe as far back as since we became farmers 10,000 years ago. But at the very least, since the industrial age began a couple hundred years ago, we have isolated ourselves from the rest of the natural world. We're part of the natural world too, but in our consciousness, we've begun to think that somehow we're separate and we're alienated in some way. And if you take that attitude of not feeling ourselves to be a fundamental part of the rest of the world, of the natural world, and then you add to that the power of fossil fuels and the power of machinery that are driven by that amount of energy, and a big human population now, what you have is what we got now, which is a level of destructiveness of the Earth's natural systems that we've never before seen, that we've never even been capable of until now. And so you've got these two fundamental problems of alienation in the way we think and feel relative to the rest of the natural world, and then this hyperdrive, fossil fuel-powered, technological, industrial age that allows us to completely reshape the whole face of the planet. And what the great work is trying to go back to recover, grow into, so we need to move back in time and forward in time, an intimacy with the natural world. So we really begin once again to see ourselves as part of the rest of the world, not separate from it, not battling with it, but as part and parcel of it. Because when you think about it, you can't be healthy as an individual on a planet that's ailing. You cannot encapsulate yourself personally and ignore everything else that's going on. We're going to thrive together as a whole Earth system, and that's a system that includes all of us humans, but all of the non-human creatures, and trees and rocks and air and oceans, etc. All of that system needs to thrive if any single individual is to be healthy. The great work is the shift in human consciousness it's going to take so that we become more connected to the natural world in the first place, and so we change our behaviors, our individual behaviors, and our whole corporate behavior or collective behavior as human beings, such that we stop being a destructive presence and we become a beneficial presence. And that there's mutual benefit too, that we benefit from the Earth's thriving and flourishing, and the Earth becomes a better, healthier, more vibrant place than it could be without us human stewards here. So it's not just a matter of let's get rid of all the mean, nasty humans that are tearing the planet up. It's no, the planet can be better off for us being here. And the particular term great work comes from a thinker, a theologian and geologian, a cultural historian named Thomas Berry, who died in 2009. He was a Passionist priest, which is in line with our Passionist heritage as a center. But Thomas Berry, as a cultural historian, recognized that at various parts of human history, there were moments when something big needed to be done. Whether it was the invention of writing or the building of the cathedrals in medieval Europe, maybe it was the establishment of the Han Dynasty in China, maybe it was turning Hitler back. There are times in human history when we have to sort of link arms and work together for some common and greater good. And Thomas Berry thinks that we're now at a historical moment where our great work, the one that you and I are called to at this point in history, is to bring about this totally new way of being human, this totally new way of relating to the earth, relating to each other, relating to our own selves, such that we can transform the way we live on this planet. And it needs to happen in government and politics. It needs to happen in the business world, in corporate behavior. It needs to happen in our educational system, particularly the universities. It even needs to happen in our religious traditions. We need to become religious in new ways so that our eyes are opened to this new way of being human and benefiting the planet by our presence. So in a nutshell, that's the great work, and we all have our own piece of it. Essentially, it's as big as this. 67 million years ago, the dinosaurs died out because of massive, catastrophic changes in the planet's climate. And that ushered in what's called the Cenozoic Era. We are now, as human beings, we have become a force of nature ourselves. We have become so powerful and so numerous that we have the kind of power of glaciers and meteors and all of these tectonic forces that have heretofore shaped human and biological history on the planet. Now we're that big force. So what Thomas Berry says is we need to transition ourselves from the Cenozoic period, which we're busy snuffing out on some level. We're the next meteor as a species, unfortunately. But being in that role of that much power gives us a great responsibility as well to usher in this, what he calls the Ecozoic Era. And that is the era of a much more intimate relationship with the natural world. It's the era of healing and beneficial presence, such that the earth begins to flourish, and we flourish in new and better ways as well. There are three different areas in which we try to operate. Most broadly, we're an educational institution, not a university, but a nonprofit, non-credit, interfaith spirituality center. And so we're trying to help people, in brief, wake up, show up, and clean up, however you want to understand those. We do that in three very specific ways. The first is most broadly described as spiritual development education and transformative learning experiences around growing spiritually. And the reason for that is because we don't think you can address the problems that I've just laid out. We don't think that you can bring about the great work unless you have some kind of inner equanimity or spiritual foundation, however you may understand that, to, at the very least, transform your vision so that you begin to see that it's not just all about me, or it's not just all about me and my tribe, my family, my one little church community or neighborhood community. That's what spirituality does at its best. It opens the frame of your vision. And it also gives you, spiritual practices give you the peace and equanimity you need to deeply engage the needs of the world. What's crucial in the work we do in this first realm is helping people cultivate vision and inner peace and equanimity. And we do that largely through instruction in meditation, and particularly mindfulness meditation. You know, mindfulness meditation is quite the rage in the broader culture here. It's been proven scientifically to decrease emotional reactivity, to increase workplace productivity, to help in relationships. I mean, there are a lot of great benefits physiologically and mentally to mindfulness meditation. And obviously, we want to cater to anyone who's interested in gaining those benefits. But for us, there's something more than just that. We want to help people learn these techniques so that they can truly be transformed individuals, certainly for their own sake, but then for the sake of this larger work. And that ends up leading to the two other aspects of our mission. The second is what we call social compassion. or social justice, but compassion is the word we really like to use, because if you think about, as I said earlier, the individual can't be healthy on a sick planet. The individual also can't be healthy as part of a sick community. So social compassion has to do with moving out beyond yourself into the work that needs to be done to make our neighborhoods safer, to make our cities more kindly places for those who are poor, for those who have any challenge or disability or anything in their lives. We are not we can't be healthy humans until we have a healthy society. So that's the second area in which we work. We educate people around those issues and help people wake up to the needs of their local community, all the way up to the global community, social needs, whether that's war, poverty, trafficking, etc. And then the third and the broadest concentric circle is the Earth itself, the Earth system itself. So the third piece of our mission is to help people reconnect to the Earth. And we do that by a number of means. I think one of the most important ones is helping people see that the Earth and all of its systems, all of the people and creatures and flora and fauna that are part of the Earth, that this whole system is part of a much larger system of an unfolding, evolving universe. As Thomas Berry said, we are the Earth, finally able to reflect on its own life. And as such, we are able to understand our role in this wonderful unfolding process. So the Earth and Spirit Center talks about, we teach about the universe story, but we also sit on 21 acres of land right in the middle of Louisville. So we are trying to get people to connect intimately with the natural world, whether it's through our organic gardens, through our kids camp programs, where we introduce kids to nature and teach them that food comes from the earth rather than the grocery store. We are educating folks through the woodland trails that we have, and helping people see that we are all part of this amazing, alive, vibrant system that is the Earth, even if it's ailing right now, even if we're still doing it massive amounts of harm. It is still this place of beauty and wonder. And it's only by connecting to the Earth in that intimate way, in that way of awe and celebration, as Thomas Berry talks a lot about, that's what's going to give us the fuel to bring about this great work of transforming the way we are human on this planet. The great work is not just becoming better environmental stewards. The great work is changing the very way we're human. And that's a process of spiritual development. It's a process of compassionate outreach to others in need in the human community. And it's a process of waking up to the Earth itself in all kinds of ways. So really, you can dive into any of our programming, because I think we're one of the few places that operates out of such an integrated vision, such that if we're the whole cloth and all of our classes and programs are the threads, the warp and the weft of that cloth, you can pull on any single thread and it's all going to be connected to the same cloth. It's all ultimately going to be connected to the furthering of the great work.